There's Discord chat up there, and BC chat here. We should be live, I think. I don't know. Yes, going live. Aren't we lucky? Hello, everybody. Anybody tuning in? I honestly can't tell, but make sure there's no feedback loop. No. So, slow start, I know, but there's a reason for this. Oh yeah, OBS is up there. Well, okay, losing track of where everything lives. Aren't we lucky? And we've got an advert to get through. Hello, everyone. Anyone watching? Is anyone? There's 2 people tuned in. This is LBC Stoof. It's probably counting me as a watcher as well, because yeah. So I see you there in the chat, Nick Bayman. 3 people. I'm gonna add everyone. Your tunes. You're pulling an all-nighter, Citros. That's intense. I haven't done one of those in ages deliberately. Okay, I'm going to add everyone. So yeah, right now it's just me. There was someone else that's meant to come on, but they had to. They kind of didn't understand the days, so they weren't actually available today. Isha's also busy, so when I hope she's getting on well. I don't know how my settings are coming through right now. I might turn myself up a bit, or am I clipping? Seems like it's Yep. Is that better? I don't know. My setup's had a bit of a change, as yeah, because I moved my entire room around, and so it's better now. It's not quite. I've got a little bit of like socks and stuff to go through, but it's like more organized. I got these new cabinets and stuff. So that's yeah. It's just a little bit easier to deal with. The old cabinets weren't really well suited to the space in the room, so these ones are better. And I'm slowly figuring out where my tech should live instead. Oh no, that's why is that muted? Restart. Stop. But yeah, so we've got a few people joined in now. There's something you can do if anyone is interested in actually just spontaneously jumping on. I am all set to actually do so. There's a thingy here. First person to come in, if I type the right thing, it's bit.ly stroke phone thingy, phone in LBC. If the first person to come in there will actually appear in the show, because I can switch over. I've got a special thingy here that allows me to take someone in. And But while I'm waiting to see if anyone decides to take the bait on that one, we'll play our first track. Let's see what they're saying. Sorry, my screens are all over the place this week. It's Hard Shifters up first. Are you around, Hard Shifters? Mike? Mike, are you there? Are you still Mike660, or are you something else because of the whole Discord name change? I honestly can't figure out how to tag you now. Is it the other Mike? Big Mike. You're up first. Yeah. I don't know. Let's just, if they show up, they show up. But let's play Hard Shifters first. No specific feedback required. So in the chat, give us anything you've got for Roll with Ice by Hard Shifters. And again, if anyone wants to come join in on the video call, I've got it set up so you can just jump straight in. Now I got the wrong chat open, so I don't know where the chat's not going through. Why am I like this? Why? And my volume muted.
Ice, CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. My guys know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. Never gotta roll with ice. CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. Never gotta roll with us. Ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Ice. Never gotta roll with ice. These brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice. Never gotta roll with ice. CJ Ike, never gotta roll with ice.
So that was Hard Shifters, Roll with Ice. They didn't ask for any specific feedback, but I honestly don't have a huge amount of feedback to give. Nick, you may be right in adding a little bit more bass on the kick could be useful, especially with the second drop, just to give it a bit more variety. It might even be a case of just adding a little bit more harmonics to the distortion, because that type of distortion tends to shelf off the bass a fair bit. So maybe it's just adding those lower harmonics back in, but in a gritty way rather than, yeah. It's I don't listen to a huge amount of hard style. I don't know about you guys, but the drop was great. I don't know if I found a specific hard style sound. Seemed a bit weaker, maybe some more lower tones. Yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like that's the sort of track you need to do a car test on, because it should be. It's cool. Blanket drop. Yeah. You can submit anything you want. You could submit bubblegum pop or whatever, classical. I don't really mind, and I don't think anyone else here does. I don't really. Yeah. It's as problem is I'm not really the most experienced with this genre, so it's really hard for me to suggest anything useful to actually really. Yeah, imagine amps and max sub in a car. You wanted to go down the street and have everyone hate you. That's the goal, I think. With, yeah, the melody's definitely catchy. It's almost like I don't know, something triumphant and heroic. So that's kind of fun. Who else we got here? Let's find out. Sorry, my mouse is everywhere at this point. Citros, you're up next. Did you submit something else, like a new replacement for that? I can't. Sphere. Running backwards. So Sphere that you want, yeah. Okay, so your description here. We'll do it radio style. Mostly the mix. But if you have other suggestions, please do tell. Some info about the track is, well, it's very tech-like and minimal, a mix of techno and progressive house, not sure on the genre. The progressive feel really works well at 4 minutes as a change of sound for a big ambient emotional chord progression. As well, yes, the track is a bit long, but it's worth a listen. Well, we're taking it chill tonight, and since I'm right now the only one here, unless somebody wants to join me, we'll just play the whole thing. Why not? I'll link again the Video Ninja. Oh, don't we've got another advert. Darn it, SoundCloud. Alright, we'll get through these adverts first. It's a lot harder to blather through the adverts by yourself. So, why doesn't everyone tell me what you've been up to lately? We haven't really spoken in a while. And I gotta minimize my chat a bit. I don't have enough screen space. I probably should have used the revert big screen for. Taskbar settings. Hide the taskbar, maybe. Automatically hide it. Are we done with these adverts yet? 8 seconds. But yeah, everyone tell me what you've been up to. Bizarre. Oh, and it's bit.ly stroke. Alright. Bit. Are you ready? This is Sphere by Citros. So, I'm going to talk over this a little bit. I'm not sure I got the balance right. See that Nick Bayman, you got this right here. Sounds like a cave. What I want is more environmental sounds. I think that's what's going to elevate this from being sort of a repetitive techno track to being an ambient soundscape extravaganza. Let's have a think of all the stuff that you would expect. Like, it could be underneath an industrial site. So you'd have the distant sounds of machinery, of drips and drops with stalactites, and maybe you think the sounds of bats and little insects and rodents going along the floor. You don't have to take it literally either. Like, you can start with a sound that sort of sounds like something, and then like then you can what's the word? Mutate it. You can use things like granular delay to change the complete character of it, but you're starting out with something that sounds like it's meant to be in a space, and I think it could be really neat. Especially since I don't think this would work with vocals. Like, yes, it would, but you'd be a completely different track, wouldn't it? So, play it out to the end. I'll shut up now. Remember, anyone, if you want to join me, I've got it set up so we can actually take a guest immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, great song, beautiful melody. It's a magnificent melody, and here are the words. My words were sacred. My time was sacred. The property I owned was sacred. And these inviolable sanctities were preserved in those 10 words.
Muted myself. Oh no. Oh no. So that was Sphere by Cetros. Zine, are you if you want to come join... Zine arrived.
Hello there.
Hello. So we got Zine over in the chat tonight now. You can come hang out for a little bit. Sunny Skies, I'm going to leave your track till towards the end because I know you're not here right now. Because next up we got Nick Bayman. Any feedback, welcome. So Zine, are you ready to give Nick your best feedbacks?
I'll try my best.
That's all anyone needs. Like, don't stress. Just say whatever you think. There are no bad ideas unless your idea is to buy Twitter and limit it to 600 tweets.
We don't have.
There are some bad
enough.
ideas, but I think you're not going to come up with anything as bad as that.
Okay.
So this is maybe what's left. Nick Beeman in the chat there. If as we get along, we'll see. If you're still along and I'm not completely dead, I might accept a couple of second submissions.
What do you do when all the feelings you have inside surrounds your heart and starts fire? An endless war to bring you down. I lose my mind, I lose my mind. Every second I'm away from you. Maybe what's left is meant to be broken, but I'd like to leave things open. And I try to breathe, but it feels so unreal without you. Everything we were is now just a dream. I'll guard it safely till I move on. Till I move on, will I ever move on? What do you do when the wave's not too high to dive into? The memories of the one you love drowned the day before you. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. I lost it all, I've lost it all. Yet to become another writing on your wall. Maybe what's left is meant to be broken, but I'd like to leave things open. And I try to breathe, but it feels so unreal without you. Everything we were is now just a dream. I'll guard it safely till I move on. Till I move on, will I ever move on?
I muted myself. Yeah. So I was just saying it wasn't what's left. Betula. I might be butchering the name, but Zine. I'd like your feelings, your thoughts. It doesn't have to be super technical. Just let's start with how did it make you feel?
It made me feel really, really good. I opened the Google Docs just for this. First of all, the ambience at the start is really good. But I feel like in the first, it's just a bit too busy. Could be me. But besides that, the vibe is really good.
I think that lack of focus is definitely true. And yeah, this is it. Blank drop. You're right. You need something really intense. Like this is the point where you start sort of almost screaming into the microphone for sure. And there's a few acts I can think of that kind of go into that territory. My brain's just gone blank. Obviously, Linkin Park is an obvious one. There's another band. I might just be all Linkin Park in my head now. I'm wondering whether you could cheat if you use vocal processing to create subharmonics. Like, you know, you can use distortion and stuff on your vocals. You could do a take that's not necessarily screaming, but sort of closer to the mic, a bit whispery, and then crank the compression and the distortion a bit, and get something kind of weird and subharmonic. Yeah, a vocoder could get away with it as well. But like, you definitely need to do another take to add those layers in if you're gonna do it that way. Nick, is the vocals yours? I'm pretty sure it is. You do sing, but there are currently another 12, 13 people in the queue-ish, depending on how many people have submitted twice, because I don't know. I should have looked at the queue beforehand, but I kind of lost track today. Zine, do you listen to any really screamy, sort of passionate rock music?
I was thinking not about the rock, but a good example might be the acoustic version of Creep, because it's a really simple
As in Radiohead.
song. Yeah, it's a really simple song, but the vocals really express a lot. I think this might be what you're thinking about.
Yeah, the stuff like that would definitely be. No, I don't think we need a Discord bot to manage the queue, because the form is fine. We just sort of clean it and close it. That's the thing. It allows us to close it whenever we want. It's easier in that regard. But thank you for offering, Backhoe. I'm sure there are plenty of better uses you can come up with for Discord bots. So, Blank Drop here, talking about how the Deftones use a lot of compression and allow him to whisper. Next, I guess? Sorry, today I'm very awkward. I feel like I'm just rusty. That's what it is. I'm just rusty. I'm out of practice. There was a time when we did these weekly, and now it's like monthly and just yeah. But maybe at some point towards
retire. You're starting to retire.
Well, I am going on holiday next week. I am going on holiday next Friday, Saturday.
I would recommend keeping the rustiness for after your holiday instead of before it.
I think I'm just ready already.
That also might be it.
Swill here. If you have any specific feedback, you didn't mention any description, but feel free to talk to us in the chat a bit about your song. This is Awaken 5. Awakens? That was Awakens by Swill, who I'm glad to see you in the chat discussing this. You were asking about arrangement, I think? And I've lost my mouse again. Help! Help! Yeah, please give song arrangement and sound selection. The second drop is rough and still the works. I think what makes your track tricky is the heavily syncopated melodic elements. So you got things like the I think they're violins or something in the back there. They're coming in at a different time to a lot of other stuff, and I think that's fine, but your arrangement itself is so dense that we never get any lead in to any element. They're all kind of just bam, 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 and it makes it, when you want to play with such loose timings, it kind of makes it hard to then go so rigid in terms of your actual progression of your track. So you're going to have to deconstruct it a bit, I think. Zine, what do you think?
You had strings in the beginning. I felt those strings were too choppy at some parts. It felt a bit unnatural. Also, when you went into the chorus, I feel like it went a bit too loud out of nowhere. It was a bit of a jump. And yeah, that's mainly where my constructive feedback ends.
And what about your feeling? You got constructive feedback there, but did you enjoy any of the ideas?
I really like the flute in the drop. It's I think it was a flute. It's very unique. Also, the build up to the drop was dope. I think there was an arp in there. I'm not sure, but I found it nice. I found it very nice. I'm proud of you, buddy.
So and Cetril saying I think I went deaf, which a fake out drop can be fun, and I definitely wouldn't try and change what you're attempting here. Just strip it back a bit in places to allow things to flow in and out a bit more. And I think you're onto a good one. The overall sound design is good, and while it's not mixed, like it's not finalized mix down, but like nothing is overtly clashing in terms of your sound design. So that's already half the battle won, I think. So good job. You put a second one in, Citros. Okay. Next up, we have Chaos Shaman. Are you in the chat, Chaos Shaman? I should have checked earlier. They're not Chaos Shaman on... Oh, it's that Steve. Are you awake? Is anyone else who is here? Let's see. We've also got... Oh, we got a track by Zine. Alright, Steve is here, so we're gonna play Steve next. Then Zine, since you're on, and then we'll play you, Sonny. I deliberately left yours towards if you popped up, because I thought, since you're at work or whatnot. It'll be somewhere in the list. I'll check in 2 seconds where you are, Relix. Sorry. So you're just looking for general feedback, Chaos Shaman. And this is Irregularity. anything, thank God. So that was Irregularity by Chaos Shaman. I definitely felt the interesting. Yeah, it started out interesting, and then it just sort of settled into this standard D&B groove, and like, where was this? Like you should have really figured out how to seed more of those ideas throughout the rest of the track. I don't know about you, Zine. Did you like the weirdness at the start?
I honestly, I loved it. It was so random, but I loved it. It was amazing.
But what about the rest of it, where it was less random?
I am gonna be completely honest. As one Sir RXILZ said, base go better. That's the only thing I have to say. I have no idea how to give feedback on this. I loved it. Base go better.
Okay. Anyone else in the chat here? Citros, you're saying it lost you at the second drop. And he sounds Dutch AF. Zine, are you? I honestly don't remember where you live. Are you Dutch?
I am actually Dutch. I asked when you were in Amsterdam. I asked you to come over.
You did? I honestly don't remember this.
You were randomly Amsterdam out. Yeah.
Well, next time I'm in Amsterdam, and it will happen at some point, I will have to come see you then. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just needs something to sort of bring back the novelty factor. It's almost like yeah, it's almost like you started out wanting to really push your boundaries and then fell back on stuff you already knew how to do. So like, all that stuff sounds good. Yeah, it's just the energy, but I think by going back to the whole irregularity concept, like that's where the key is, I think, to restoring that energy and making it so. Yeah, that theming of the intro, that is a good way to describe it. Rixel is Rix. So we got Relix or and everyone with their impossible to pronounce names. How do you submit to feedback? It's form here. Next up, we have the person currently sitting on me in the voice chat here, Zine, who has sent a YouTube link. Now, Zine, you say it just surprised me, but would you like to give some words about this, whatever it is, and before I play?
I don't know. Just listen to it. I hope I don't get roasted to death, but hey, that's life, huh? Just say the honest feedback.
Everyone, roast. Just kidding. Da. Well, I think so. The chat at least identified your influences. Uvo saying Alan Walker type beat. Bako, I agree. You hate Alan Walker. Why?
I don't know. He's just so simple. I don't know.
There's your hot take of the day, people. Alan Walker is too simple.
I don't like Ghost producers.
Well, I'm sure that he probably doesn't care. He's probably making £1 million an hour at this point. But it's definitely in that thing. You want to come on your bike? I want to see that. We'll play your track, Sonny, and then afterwards you can swap out, or I can give you a second link. Just a second. I can probably give you a link. Wow. How to join voice? Well, I'll give you a link in the chat or in the Discord. I don't know what this is. Sunny skies. Yeah. Oops. Gotta change the label. And sorry, I'll be 2 seconds, cause I am not a robot, Discord. It's choose that disc. Ovo, your DMs are off, so I can't DM you. Blah, but that'll do. If you want to hop in, that'll work. Yeah. I know, we're doing it spontaneously. I'm killing the flow of the stream. I'm very sorry. But Zine, I don't think your idea is bad. I'm not going to roast you for this one because actually it's got a lot of potential. And I agree with Bako that it definitely needs to progress towards, like, you need to finish the arrangement and actually put chorus or a drop in there. You're getting better. Like, this is actually a notable step up. It still sounds happy and motivational, but it sounds less like an advert. Hello, is that Uvo there?
Hello.
Hello.
What's up? Hello there.
Hi, everybody.
We got Uvo on the chat. Way! Would you like to give Zine some commentary while you are on the phone there?
Why I can give commentary why I'm like comparing it to Alan Walker.
Well, I'm interested in why you compare it to him, especially since he then went, I don't like Alan Walker. Alan Walker is too simple.
Yeah, I mean Alan Walker was great a long time ago, like 7 years ago, because he was making like such innovational stuff, like very simple electronic music that went viral, and it kind of sounds like the same sound to me, I guess. But it's good. Kind of doesn't have a something heavy. I enjoy EDM more, and this is kind of more simple stuff, more like happy music.
It's definitely happy. I like happy as well. I wouldn't like happy all the time, but I like happy some of the time.
Maybe a change up, like a chord progression change up.
Even a key change might actually work in this context. I don't often recommend those because they can be cheesy, but I think in this case maybe it is worth just leaning in a little bit and actually going for it. Tally Trippin, use the form linked by the bot there, and you could submit. I will be closing the form soon because the time is now 8 PM. and well, I can go on for a couple more hours. I will have to eat food at some point, I expect. So, oh yeah, the archive is everything's still there. We're very organized. And next up we have Sunny Skies with a Future Garage track. Future Garage Whip, apparently. Are you guys ready for Future Garage? We got Sunny in the chat here. I'm going to just tweak my thingy. 2 seconds. I can hear you. Hello. Yep. Can you hear us?
Heads up, if you wouldn't mind muting me in between songs, because I am literally on a bike right now. You can pull up the camera and put me on if you guys just want to watch me bike around, but I'll be listening on the earbuds and commenting as I,
I'm very interested to...
I don't think he's Dutch. He's not. Are you Dutch?
American. It's
Yes.
currently 3 for me.
You're wearing your bike helmet. We don't.
Yeah,
do
he's
that in
outside.
I'm literally biking right now.
Which is hilarious.
Biking right now.
I've done an outside call into a feedback stream before too. It's fun, isn't it?
I've never done it like this, no.
Alright, well, if... Yeah, just give me a second. You can come join it too. This way, everyone will join it, okay? We're getting everyone on the VC here. There's hard shifters, use that link there. This is honestly hilarious. I'm glad it's turning out like this. Alright, while other people decide whether they're going to join or not, I'm going to play Sunny's track. Then Sunny, you can tell us a bit about it. Afterwards. I can hear some sound from whoever's on phone in 5. Is that you, Hard Shifter?
Yeah, that's me. No, wait, that's the guy on the bike. That's not me.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna mute you for a second there, Sunny.
This is very chaotic.
Yeah, I know.
It's chaotic, but hey, like, why not? We're gonna play Sunny's track, then he's gonna tell us a bit about it, and then we'll go from there.
A game play's not for the faint. You've gotta stand and take the stage. Take the stage. Life, it's a picture only you can paint. Be the one to turn the page. Turn the page. I don't wanna be the one to fall, the one to jump and lose it all. Lose it all. But all I do seems for naught. All the battles that I wish I fought. Wish I fought.
Mistakes I haven't made ahead of me.
But so I'm gonna hand it over to Sunny briefly. Tell us a bit about the song. No, I unmuted you. That's why I asked you a question. No, you're unmuted. I can hear you just fine, and I think everyone else can. Oh, and I muted you on. Sorry, 2 seconds. I muted everyone. Everyone else can't hear you. There we go. Now they can.
There we go. Okay. So essentially, the song is talking about my life circumstances right now, trying to take independence, afraid to take independence and do my own thing. Hence me being on a bike today, because I am not relying on other people. I'm relying on myself right now. That's what the lyrics are supposed to be about, and the song genre itself is supposed to be future garage. In terms of the lyrics, those are probably the biggest things that I'm a little worried about. I experimented with 2 different things in this track so far. The lyrics I sung in the very beginning, I took one line and I pitched it manually up and down note by note and made the harmonies that way, which is why it has that synthetic kind of sound. The female vocals actually have a very subtle vocode effect on them, and I plan to layer those vocals with my own, and those are the things I'm looking for feedback on, because those are stuff that I'm very new to and I don't know how to work with.
Okay, well I can tell you for a start, your track isn't Future Garage.
Yeah, Future Garage. It started off trying to be Future Garage, and
It's definitely not anymore.
Turned into something else. I don't know what it's considered at this point.
Turn into ambience fucking game sounds. Like, especially the last part where it sounds just like Mario, but it's like 64-bit, but it's not like quite that. But it has that Asian Eastern vibe to it.
Kinda sounds like old dubstep to me, like Subscape from 2010.
Anyway, I wrote something down.
Okay, let's hear it.
The ambience rain in the intro, like that stuff it's a bit loud. It's annoying. It's just a bunch of white noise. So if you lower that down, but then you add the piano from like the part further into the track with it, I think that's gonna sound horrific. Also, the piano at certain parts started to clip in certain frequencies. You might want to check that out too. Like, you can lower down the volume. Once you do that, also add less sustain but more reverb, so it creates like a more ambience feeling. And also, like, again, just put the piano in the intro because it sounds a bit empty. That's basically what I have to say.
I think you're also gonna have to be careful with the vocal processing.
Yeah, definitely. As for the piano in the intro, I actually reversed it into itself with reverb and blurring. So I don't know if that was super noticeable. Maybe the rain overpowered it. It is probably what happened. And as for the vocal processing, any suggestions from you, Nat?
Is it me or can I barely hear him?
Yeah, he's quiet. His mic gain is kind of rubbish. This is the risk with outside things. He's gonna have to use earbuds at some point. Wireless earbuds.
I am using wireless earbuds.
Oh, well, it's that.
Really? Yeah, I was about to say the same
I'm
thing.
just gonna yell at you from now on. You know, my only form of communication is just vocally shouting at my phone while riding on a bike on the side of the street.
Well, it's hands-free either way.
I would just focus on whether you can understand the lyrics. Because I couldn't really remember a single word that you sang so far. Which means they're not really well defined enough yet to actually sink in.
Alright, so I've got to work on clarity then. The way I've tried to fix that is I've actually routed the wet track and dry track separately to try and get the clarity, so you had like a super dry vocal on top of a wet vocal. But I've been told a lot of times when I do that, it's often too dry. Do you know how I could maybe bring up that clarity without sacrificing reverb?
Well, it's transient shaping. All the
Yes,
clarity is in
or-
the transients.
You make one dry bus for the vocal and one wet bus for the vocal. The dry bus goes to the wet bus, and the dry bus also goes back to the master. And that's normally how I basically mix my vocals, is to have a dry and a wet bus.
That's essentially what I've done. I'm guessing I just need to balance them a little bit, maybe a little bit less wet, a little bit more dry, maybe.
Do you use FL
would
Studio?
Yes. I'm
Throw a
using-
limiter on them. Throw a limiter on the wet bus.
All right, I can do that.
There's a lot to be said about using sparsity in arrangement when you're trying to make something make something intelligible in the mix. So maybe instead of like focusing on mix techniques, you could maybe try and take some things out of the mix to try and let them come through and be as intelligible as they possibly could be. That's my take just on the vocals. Less is
Good
more.
take. Meets Randy Rowe.
In my case, I feel like the first vocal in the first half sounded good. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just cancelling the advert. Keep talking.
Yeah, the first vocal sounded great, but the second one clashes too much with the piano, and I can clearly hear both of them at the same time. Like the one is too loud at sometimes, and then the vocal is too loud, so it's harder to understand the song.
It probably doesn't help that the vocoder carrier is coded to the vocal. I tried that, not too sure how it works. I think I could replace that with a synth and maybe cut the frequencies that the female vocal has from the piano.
Yeah, maybe like cut vocals or cut the piano, or maybe fade them out for some interesting effects. Maybe you can have like some cut from vocal put into the drop and have it sound more fun, more interesting, not like the simple melody.
Just asking if anyone else wanted to join in the voice chat.
You probably can't get any worse than me. If your audio setup's any better than this, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna keep you on mute for a little bit now, Sonny, and because it's getting very loud wherever you are.
I can hear every bump his wheel is making, or driving on top of.
If you guys really want, I could also go outside and start biking, like, in
No,
circles.
no, absolutely fucking not.
Like, my microphone is probably worse. So, be grateful.
Yeah, but you're Dutch. Everything is worse.
Excuse me?
Their trains are better than ours.
I am definitely not Dutch. I live in Germany.
We have drugs. We have legal drugs. What's better
No,
than
it's
that?
not legal.
It's kind of legal. I don't know how to.
You can smoke it at the coffee shop, but that's about it. And anyway, this was Twitch. So talking about this stuff might get us cancelled.
We're
You
gonna
never
get
know.
cancelled anyway.
To the next track. Next track.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, next to the next track. Let's go. It's taking us too long.
Rebirth 2 by Energy. This is looking for assistance for directions to hit song besides the relative repetition. Interested in pointers and tips for types of effects or drum changeovers that could help the song together more. I think he might have invented acid mumba, like mumbaton. It's got the right drum beat for it, but it's just all these acid arps and stuff. Where's my mouse gone? So, what is everyone else's thoughts? Since I've got half a dozen people in the chat. Anybody?
I can say something if no one else is going to go. I find it really interesting. Oh, Sonny's unmuted.
No, you go. You keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay. So I find it kind of interesting. It's almost a bit like dub techno with some of the delayed arpeggio kind of ideas, and I kept on thinking maybe the drums were going to get a bit more hi-fi at some stage and like drop into something. It sounded a bit more like very lo-fi drums, and it works for a certain stage, and it's very hypnotic and gets you into a flow. But I just thought it was going to progress somewhere and take us out of that sort of zone that you created. But I found it, really nice set of sounds. I thought they were really nicely, well produced. But just the drums were just seemingly a little bit lo-fi for me. That's just my take. But really good overall.
Thank you. That's a good set of feedback there. And I agree, I recognise the dub techno influence as well. So, next up, Sonny, since you were going to speak.
I'm back.
Are you dead? I think Sonny's frozen.
Oh, I'm not. I managed to survive. Am I still here?
Didn't he crash his bike? No, he didn't.
I am here, so I'm all good. I've been using myself to make sure that the auto doesn't leak through. What's up?
What is your thoughts on the track?
Okay, time to go into my thoughts on the track. Initially, when the first the song started initially, I was actually getting some kind of like drum and bass vibes, and I was expecting the drums to pick up a bunch more. And I was expecting maybe a lot of music in the background to suddenly start playing while I was talking, you know? That just completely threw me off. What was I saying? I expected more energy to progress through the drums, more of the top end on the drums. That being said, the acid arpeggios that you had and the soundscape you had, it's really there.
I think, Sonny, I think you're gonna have to just type out lost of your comment here because you're just dropping out. I'd say hang up and do it in chat. I'm sorry. You're dead. You died. Oh, your camera's just glitching and everything. It was a fun experiment, but clearly the 5G signal's there. It's just not quite good enough to... Yeah, stay there. Stay safe, Sonny. And Azine, you can clock off too. I thought you said you were wanting to go.
I was waiting for the end, but I'm gonna go now. Have a great day, boys. Cheers.
You too.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, we've got a few people.
Yeah, hello.
Right.
I have no idea what to say. I have to agree with the previous one. It just sounds great. Needs a switch up, definitely, because the drums could hit harder in the like having a loud part was like more dubstepy type of sound, because it's ambient, and the transition to dubstep with the same bass kind of would sound great to me.
What is that music playing through? Who's...
I have no idea where it's coming from.
It's from Phone In 5. I don't remember who's using Phone In 5. I can hear this music. It's hard shifters, right?
Oh shit! Is it bleeding through? Oh god damn it!
It threw me off so much.
Well, yeah, I'm reworking on the feedback. It's a necessary thing. I didn't know that it would actually catch it though. Like,
I could still. Yeah, you showed up earlier during Sunny's talk, and I was just like, oh my god, where is this coming from? And are we gonna get striked for this?
Oh no! Don't kill him.
Don't kill me.
Oh no, I will.
Kidding. This stream has been funny. Do you have any feedback for the last track?
I went out to fill the fridge with beer, so I couldn't listen to it. But the first part, it was fine though. The drums threw me a bit off, but further than that, I think it was an awesome track.
Okay, any last comments before we move on to Grim?
Soundscape is awesome. Work on the drums and drop.
Okie dokie. This is Grim with don't know what the name of the track. Wait, is this a remix? Yeah, this is a. I actually don't know if we can play this because it's a remix by the looks of it. I think Showtech sounds like someone I think is actually popular. Anyone know anything good about Showtech?
Yes, don't play. Copyright is like on the corner.
Yeah, sorry, Grim. We're gonna go play Blank Drop now then instead. Sorry. Burp. It does say in the forum, do not submit remixes. Like, we are pretty explicit about that. RSD 2 by Blank Drop.
Am I going crazy? Feels like I don't have the time. You can pull my heart out, baby, 'cause it's no longer mine. Life's been so tough lately, but it's no fun to cry. I cried my eyes out, and no one stopped to ask me why. Dysphoria wash over me. Don't give a damn about reality. Feels like I'm falling way too deep. Things might not be as bad as they seem, but the whole world's crashing down on me like a wave, like a wave, like a wave, yeah. Dysphoria wash over me like a wave rolling out in the deep. Pull me under, pull me down, and let go, leaving me there to drown. Yeah, oh no. Wash over me. Oh no. Just let go. Dysphoria wash over me. Don't give a damn about reality. How does it feel the same way every time? Every ache, every pain, yeah, they're all mine. Dysphoria wash over me. Pull me under, pull me down, and let go, leaving me to drown. Yeah, oh no. Dysphoria Just let go. Just let go. Just let go. Just let go.
So I agree with some of the comments here. Warm blanket music. It's like cozy autumn music. But I don't think it's a case of running the vocals through Melodyne to clean up pitches. It's simply a case of doing another take, but breathe more. You have plenty of gaps where it's like you're still sort of trying to do it all in one go without breathing. It's hard to do when you're, like you said in your comment here, any notes in the bass and the vocal mix, overall notes welcome, not very experienced in my own vocals. So obviously when you're recording, you need to time your breaths to give yourself the maximum control and punch as you're singing. And it's like, maybe you should sit down with your lyrics and note out where you need your breaths to be. Like, you know, do it in the actual text of your lyrics and memorize it that as you go through a couple of times. And see if that makes it easier to sort of just remind yourself. Because as I say, it's a conscious... Well, yes, obviously, breathing is a subconscious action, you know, normally. When you try to do something like this, you have to make it a deliberate action in order to actually have control over it. And that will make it easier to actually hold the notes that you need to hold. So I'd start there before you go with anything else. The other thing is obviously just experiment a bit. Like, this is, if you're inexperienced, obviously that's the point where it's worth trying stuff to one, so you can understand in your head what it's doing when you record different versions of it. So like, try one where you're singing here like this, and it probably sounds something like different to if you're singing over here but a little bit louder, and you're doing this. You know, like, change your mic position, get a feel for it. You know, especially, the song's really nice. It's actually good that you've got a lovely song here that you can sing, because that means it's going to be fun to play around with the dynamics of it, so you can get a better grip of your gear and your space, and like really leverage the fact that you have the time to try everything. So that's kind of where I would recommend it. Just relax. You know, it's not like holding a stiff upper posture. It's relax. You meant to sort of have your core there, in and out, like you're meditating, not really like you're. And yeah, it's scary, especially nobody wants to hear themselves sing. So I understand that. I'm gonna hand it over to the people over in the VC here. I've forgotten who's here, so maybe you should all tell me a little bit about yourselves.
I'm here.
I'm here too.
Yeah,
All right,
but like,
so
who are you? Who are yous?
well, me.
I'm you.
I have no name, and I have one name and no face, and that's how I keep it.
I'm Yuvo in chat. Just
Oh, for me, it's just hard shifters here and hard shifters there. It's, you know.
Hard shifters up and down the stairs too.
Yeah, no, I know, right? And if you look in Discord, my name is Mike.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But that's not actually my real name. It's a short term of my name, so you can like figure out what my real name is. Anyway.
Anyway.
A Big Mac. Oh hell yeah, let's go. Anyway, I'm 22. I come from the Netherlands. I work in engineering and construction, and music is what I do as a hobby and as a joke. You might already guessed that, but I'm really good at it for some reason. So I'll keep on producing music just for the fun of it. But that's basically a little bit about me. Oh yeah, I'm also funny. and I make people dance and standing on their beds and making rolls like Nathaniel did once.
Making rolls?
Or I don't know. It's like where you're I don't know if it was you or someone else, but somebody basically rolled around in this room on his head and stuff while listening to one of my tracks. And the other one just jumped on the bed, and that was you. Because I still have a clip on that. Me. Yeah, because I still have a clip on that. Oh yeah, and I do have something to blackmail you now.
I'm not ashamed, it's fine.
Okay. Anyway, about the song, what Nathaniel said is breath timing, yes, but another tip is to face away from the mic, just like turn your head or something whenever you like have to breathe. Sometimes it helps, saves you a lot of time when cutting out certain breaths, because you have like certain breaths like and you just want to have that out because it gives unwanted noise and it makes your vocal like seem way clearer. Also, what notices me is I don't know if you throw everything on one bus. So like you record your vocal, you throw it in one bus, and you throw all the effects on it. Don't. If you have a bus for the dry vocal, so like you record it, you throw that in the bus. After that, you make another bus for the reverb. You sidechain your dry bus to your reverb bus. And then you add another bus, and that's the one for the Vocaloid. So basically you go from the dry also to the Vocaloid. And what happens is that certain frequencies are not going to interfere with each other that way. So your vocal, once processed completely, sounds way clearer and bigger in quality. That's the only tip I can give you. The first thing on the feedback though, like the first part, was a little bit muddy. But then once you put in the kicks and the piano and the guitar and the bass, the vocal basically feels right where it should be. And that goes for the entire track. But then at the last second of your track where you have that guitar, you like lower it down in volume, so like you make an automation clip, right? And it goes back up. But that makes a really annoying transition to the end because you basically cut it off just like that, and that's basically what what I think is like really annoying.
It's good feedback.
I feel like Zaning is great. I love it. It's like coming back again. The song is like fade out but comes back around.
Anything else?
I don't know. I don't have technical ability to say about the vocal. I tried once to do my vocals and they sounded like shit, so I cringed out and quit. So I will never do that. But the bass, he asked about the bass. The bass sounds great to me. I don't know. I didn't even notice if it was like repeating the same line or doing something like interesting. Because to me it sounded like to the groove, to fun all the time. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was almost foundational. Like it doesn't really stand out in its own right, but like obviously we would miss it if it wasn't there. But it just sounds nice where it's sitting right now.
It's awesome.
I've got something.
Yes, please.
I've got something a little controversial, maybe. I think the production of that track was perfect for the style, like meaning that this fits really well into the kind of indie category. Like I've been listening to indie since like the Britpop days, and I think this fits like well within the kind of, produced at home on a low budget kind of thing, but it suits it. And I don't think you'd want to like go to this uber level of production, or I'm not entirely sure you would want to go to like this super high polished level of production, because that might take away from the authenticity of the actual piece of music. It sounds, I mean, I'm just on headphones now that I don't really use that much, but it sounded really good to me. It sounded like pleasant to listen to. I wouldn't pick out any particular fault in it. And I think, yeah, I'd slap that on an indie playlist and be quite happy with it. And I'm glad you put in an outro as well. That's nice. Thank you for doing that.
Outros are underrated.
It's appreciated.
Yeah, true. And the only thing that sticks out from the production may be the vocals to fix the first part of the vocals. Yeah, it's not fixed enough, but in the second drop, it sounds really full and great, and even pitch wise, it's awesome. Like everybody said before me, like about the breath and the control.
I do wonder if what you guys are picking up on as like not perfectly produced vocals is just a lack of confidence behind a microphone. So you've got some hesitation. Right. So you're just hearing some of the hesitations in the voice that make it seem a little bit wobbly maybe, or something like that. But it sounded really good.
It's definitely part of it.
But you'll get there.
Yep, we believe you.
Yeah.
So,
The voice is great itself.
Oh, yeah, you have a great voice, but yeah. Hardshifters, thank you for joining us in the voice chat vocal thing. I know, like, it's been really weird tonight, but that's what it is when Natty doesn't do enough work on this channel during the month. Yeah. But this has been fun so far. Next up, we have Reels. And please tell us how to pronounce your name. He's asking for thoughts about the flow of this track and ideas for mixing or vocals. Downtown Blur. Is this working? It's loading. bad audience, bad. Although at least it's one of his own tracks that was auto playing, so we're not gonna get striked for that. I'm gonna hand it over to my two friends over in the voice chats. Who wants to go first? We're giving your thoughts.
I can go. I think there's that plinky plonky glitchy kind of almost like chopped up chord things that's almost played. The thing on the sides that's almost played like continuously through the track. I think like what could go a long way, especially as you get into the more rhythmic, like where you're playing about with the rhythms of the bass. I reckon it could go a long way if you just played about with some low pass filters, like some careful choice of like, slowly moving down and opening back up the filters, because then that can give some of the other elements like a bit of room to breathe, and it also gives you a bit of like textural interest, like dragged out across the track. And you mentioned you turned down the shakers or hi-hats or whatever it was like in the chat. But I wonder if you can play about, not for all of the sections, but carefully placing a flanger or a phaser on some of the hi-hats, like just to some extra added textural interest through the tracks. Yeah, a bit like, before a drop or something like this. Like, but I felt like the production of it, absolutely solid. Kick sounded lovely, bass sounded lovely. I'd have a hard time defining the style, so it sounds really original, which is, a really hard thing to do. So yeah, just carry on doing it. Sounds wicked. I'd listen to it again, definitely.
Yep, dope sounds, I would say myself. I don't know what to add to this track, because I feel like if I start like complaining, like it needs a switch up or something, but also it's committed to some type of like breakbeat type of sound that is continuous and like a little bit trancy, like with all these glitch sounds and stuff. So I have no idea. It has to be like. I have no idea.
I think that everyone writes talking about the sort of the glitchy hip hop sort of aspect. It needs a section where it's just focused on the beat. I think that would be like a proper breakdown that really just lets everything else fall away and you just get that funky beat. That would I think help tie everything together. Because right now it's sort of just so focused on the arps and the pads,
Yeah, I would agree that the overall soundscape doesn't change throughout the song, so the sounds at every part are the same. Maybe like the parts with only drums could help, or the parts with drums and just other sounds, like more lower type of sound without any high end or mid end, just for the groove of it.
So I think if I'm not mistaken, the term breakbeat, like the break part of it, actually comes from when soul tracks used to strip everything away and just play a drum beat, and that was called the break. And
give everyone else a break.
So what you're suggesting, what you're suggesting is for this breakbeat track to work, you need a break in it. So I kind of like that. Yeah, something where you just focus on the groove for a second. Like I like that idea a lot. Or just like coffee. Proper groove out, just proper get down and shake your bum, like.
I think I've been replaying the Digimon Cyber Sleuth recently, and the I can't remember the name of the guy who composes the tracks for that. He also composed for Danganronpa, if anyone's ever played that. But he was a lot into this sort of neo-trance breakbeat kind of territory. There's a lot of funk influence all over the place as well, because Japan, they love all their crazy funk stuff. Like there's so much of it coming out of Japan, and this would just fit right in there. I really like the atmosphere of this one, so thank you for that, Rels. That I think that was a fun track, and just sometimes just learn to. Wait, no, how long was it? It was 3 minutes 24. Like, this could easily be a 5-minute track just because there's so many interesting ideas in it. Oh no, it's still. Yeah, your track's just coming because I've got to set the thingy. No, I just have to enter in because. Burp. Yours is on SoundCloud. This is the next one up is Slow Mo by Relix. Their comment here is, yeah, sorry, you're just early. Give me some, give me some patience. You didn't ask for any specific feedback, so please tell us a bit about your track in the chat here, and we will have a listen while you're doing so.
We the visionaries.
I ain't got a lot to lose, so let's see how far we go. I've been tripping off the shrooms, trying to find an antidote. Yeah, my homie is my plug, so I get it on the low. Yeah, you know it's good stuff when you stuck in slow-mo. I've been moving too fast to care how I feel. Yeah, it's just me and God, can you please take the wheel? There ain't no looking back, better make them dreams real. Yeah, I'm done playing around, now I'm going for the kill. Then you better sign a deal, yeah, you better be for real. There ain't need for all the pills, smoking weed so I can chill. If I said I'll do it, then I promise you I will. Right now at the bottom, but I'm aiming for the hills. Yeah, I'm aiming for the hills. Finally breaking down the wall, so I don't need me any windows. I've been through it all, sorry I'm a sentimental. Said you wouldn't call, but I'm betting that you want to. I know in the end it'll come around to haunt you. Ever since I was a kid, I've been trying to make it big. Live the life I wanna live. Maybe get a little rich, maybe get a new bitch. Maybe smoke another blunt while I'm getting Versace on my wrist. Yeah, I guess that's it, I guess it's over. New lifestyle, but I'm still not sober. Smoke another blunt so I can get closure. New lifestyle, but I'm still not sober. Yeah, I'm still getting colder. Yeah, well, it is what it is. And yeah, I did what I did. New lifestyle, new bitch. One phone call to get rich. They wanna see me fall, so they'll switch until you give it all. I ain't got a lot to lose, so let's see how far we go. I've been tripping off the shrooms, trying to find an antidote. Yeah, my homie is my plug, so I get it on the low. Yeah, you know it's good stuff when you're stuck in slow-mo. I've been moving too fast to care how I feel. Yeah, it's just me and God, can you please take the wheel? There ain't no looking back, better make them dreams real. Yeah, I'm done playing around, now I'm going for the kill. Then you better sign a deal, yeah, you better be for real. There ain't need for all the pills, smoking weed so I can chill. If I said I'll do it, then I promise you I will. Right now at the bottom, but I'm aiming for the hills. Yeah, I'm aiming for the hills. So let's see how far we go. I've been tripping off the shrooms, trying to find an antidote. Yeah, my homie is my plug, so I get it on the low. Yeah, you know it's good stuff when you stuck in slow-mo. I've been moving too fast to care how I feel. Yeah, it's just me and God, can you please take the wheel? There ain't no looking back, better make them dreams real. Yeah, I'm done playing around, now I'm going for the kill. Yeah, you better sign a deal, yeah, you better be for real. There ain't need for all the pills, smoking weed so I can chill. If I said I'll do it, then I promise you I will. Right now at the bottom, but I'm aiming for the hills. Yeah, I'm aiming for the hills. I've been tripping.
Okay, that was Slow Mo by Relix. Who would like to go first with giving some feedback on the track there and the VC?
I don't mind going first again. That was really well produced. That was solid track. Like,
They said they worked on it
proper-
yesterday. The vocals
yeah,
were
and
yesterday.
I'm really surprised at that. So, you know, we can talk a lot about how hard it is to sing, but it's really bloody hard to write lyrics as well. Like that
Oh,
is
yeah.
a really impressive skill that you've got there in itself. And if you crank that out in a day, like, yeah, you're a musical genius, mate. Like, bloody hell. Like, well, the F done. The only thing that I did notice just at the end is that the hi-hat seemed like louder in the mix than the actual vocals. And I don't know if that was like deliberate or not, or whether you could maybe chuck soothe or tone them down in like the 4K or 1 to 4K sort of range. But or maybe it's just at the end that it's starting to become like noticeable, so maybe just filter out like low pass filters like on really high stuff can go a long way, like a little bit of a resonant resonant low pass filter just swooping out can might help bring the track to a close and maybe not focus on those hi-hats. But overall I think that was a really solid track, like good structure, good lyrics, well produced. I'm annoyed actually. It's too good. Get out of here. What do you need feedback for?
Yeah, the consensus is probably like this because it's such a full track. It doesn't miss much in terms of rap. Maybe the rap beats don't need like some complex structure, some hard bass or like amazing sound design. It's just simple stuff, good vocals, and the lyrics are alright. I don't understand the lyrics. English not my native, so they are probably great, I would say.
It's definitely hard translate, like going through language barriers, because it's got an accent. Everyone like different. It's an very American sort of rap beat, and that's the complication compared to learning formal English. So I totally understand it. It's like when I try and listen to anything French, like unless it's formal French, I have no clue what's going on.
I only understood like get a bitch, so I don't know other parts.
I think you'll have to clarify for the chat with me, but was this just the rap that you put on the top of the beat, or is that your actual producer tag? Because if you're not the one producing the thing, what you really need, and like your vocal range is clearly quite well established, like you have confidence in your vocals. You need a permanent producing partner, so you can. Otherwise, if it is your producer tag, I would get rid of it if that was possible. I feel like producer tags on the whole have kind of had their day. I don't know about you guys. This is a really minor thing, just a thought.
Also, there are many. Like I heard, like 2 or 3 different producer tags. At the start, at least.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, so no idea what's going on there. But yeah, like that's good. Like it's make more like you need to have like establish a permanent relationship with them because you clearly vibe. And but yeah, maybe have a look at how you can reinterpret the producer tag, perhaps. Maybe even have you do the producer tag. Like why I don't see why it has to be their generic one when. You could actually make it fit in the song by doing it yourself. That would be quite cool, and maybe more integrated.
But also, it's hard to say. I'm coming from electronic music. Electronic music doesn't really have producer tags, so maybe it's normal for rap music.
Or you can be Jason Derulo, who sings his own name of every song. Jason Derulo. But yeah, like we got so many talented rappers that keep popping up on these streams, and I love it. It's great. Thank you for your submission, Relix. Next up we have
DJ Khaled. Sorry.
Metro.
Thank you guys. This is making this all worthwhile. I appreciate the random. Alright, one more, let's go. Starting Again demo by Michael Go. I want more of that outro. I don't know about you guys, but like
Outro, the last comment, old Porter vibes. I would have to strongly agree at that, and the outro really like hammers on it. Gives into the vibes.
yeah, it's really vibey. I enjoyed it. I don't really have a huge amount of feedback. You say it's like a demo, but like aside from just filling in these arrangement gaps, like everything sounded really lush. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it sounds good. The mix is crispy. Like I like it. I like it a lot. Throughout the track, it's not that much like similar to Porter music, I guess, if you want to make the comparison. But it's making its own thing. Like it's fun. It's I didn't really understood the bass. Maybe some other have some feedback on that, but it's great.
It sounded really unique and original to me. It sounded like you've come at electronica from a completely different direction and kind of met in the middle with hyperpop and like glitch, like from Music or Aphex Twin or something like that, or Tim Exile, like with the Bell kind of influences. I really think that was an interesting arrangement. I thought that was a solid composition, some solid musical ideas, and like I love bells. Like I have a thing for bells, man. You chuck some synth bells in there, like you've got me, man. Like that. I love them. I absolutely love it. You pulled it off as well. So you got that happy, energetic, and then there's also something almost melancholic about it as well. So there's like you've got your range of emotions in there. So I think and you've got obviously your ear candy in there. God, we haven't said that word once. You've got your ear candy in there.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got your interesting little bits of sound that keep you interested, and your little sections that keep you moving as well. So it's not just the same thing repeated over and over again. Yeah, it's really good. Like solid track.
Good job.
So, we liked it. We liked it a lot. I liked it too, and I think the name is also, the name of the track was also pretty good. I've forgotten what it was now, but that something demo. That's all I'm remembering. What is wrong with me now? It's starting again. Been off track, but I'm back. My brain has been off track, and it's not coming back. Next up, we have Euphorics. It's like you said, it's a remix. Baco, you know the rule about remixes, right? So I don't I don't think I can play this because although you said it's a joke, I don't understand. Was this the AI one or is that something different? Uvo, you've also got a track in here. It better not be a remix.
No.
No. Alright,
No.
well, Barco clarifies what's going on with that. We'll play your track and then yeah. Go away, autoplay, you evil thing. Evil. I'm gonna start by saying that I really thought that the track with arrangement is rather cool. Something he said dropping too much. I can't see what's happening in chat. Sorry. Kick is losing. Virus Catman. Kick is losing too much oomph in parts, and overall low energy is dropping too much. And I think I sort of agree, but it's not that your individual sounds are bad. It's just the balance and how they're processed that needs tweaking. Like that rounded bass sound, the donkey sort of bass. It's a very simple sound. And I feel like you need to add more harmonics, some kind of saturation to it to make it more comparable to that fun Reese that pops in occasionally.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, continue.
no, if you have something to say, go ahead.
I can give you some backstory on the track. I like it's the first time I didn't make anything but drums for the. I made all the drums before the old track, so all the drums you hear made half a year before, and then I completed all the other stuff above it. Also, some the composition can be really rough for me in some parts, as people can say the energy is kind of dropping because it's kind of all different stuff that all the ideas I had crashing together, I guess. The bass at some point I even it was even lower, so no harmonics at all, was just sub, and so I brought some harmonics, but I guess I need more of them, and also maybe some noise on them, because it would benefit from it. Yeah.
That would make sense. Maybe even a little bit of not necessarily white noise, but even pink noise, just a smidge.
Yeah, or maybe some colored noise, granular noise, or something make it a little bit more fun, I guess.
Layering up twisted bits of Foley can be quite nice sometimes on top of bass. If you can sort of rhythmically chop it up along with the bass, and you've got sort of a noisy-ish Foley sound, you can get some energy into a track that way. I think what people are picking up on with the drop in energy is because you've got these sub frequencies coming in, and then you've got this Reese bass that's got quite a few mid-high frequencies, and I think that's what gives you the energy in tracks for me in dance music. It's not necessarily subs feel great, but I think what gives you the energy or feels like the track is moving forward or is filling out the top range. So when you abruptly take out the big Reese sound, and then you've just got the lower sound, it feels like there is that's what people are picking up on I think on the drop in energy, and that could be complemented by using question and answer, maybe a different Reese texture that's going whoa, 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 whoa. That was a really horrible impression, but
It is for the really horrible sound impressions on this channel.
Something more typical, a really detuned Reese that's done in a slightly different distorted style or resampled style, that could be the answer to the question that you've posed with the other synth bass, so that it feels like there's two elements talking to each other in the mid-range or the mid-range of the bass. The Foley point that I picked up on or suggested as well, it's a trick that Noisia uses quite a bit to give some of their bass lines a bit more interest in the top end without interrupting with the rhythmic structure that's been laid down by the lower basses. So I think that might work.
Well, with those kind of elements is you can gate them to your bass, and you can then use the attack and the release on the gate to create a modulation effect on the harmonic layer that you've added in, so it's not hitting directly the transient of the bass. It's hitting around the transient of the bass.
That's a really nice idea, actually. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, some
Yeah.
envelope following.
Or there's plenty of tools that kind of fill the same function. You're right, an envelope follower. There's things like a volume shaper as well. All that kind of thing. It's where you get to that sort of level of sound design. It's no longer just I'm doing this to sound good. It's a space to have fun with it. You could do stuff that most people aren't necessarily gonna notice exactly why you're doing what you're doing, but you're doing it, and that's most of the important bits in my view, at least. To that's the point if it's not interesting. The process can be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at the level of technical ability to understand how to sound design like that. It was more.
It's happy accidents. Like you deliberately try
Yeah.
to do something.
All this track is very new to me, and most of the stuff you hear is a happy accident, especially the intro part. It maybe doesn't fit, but I made it like.
Songwriting here is fine. I think the actual songwriting is good.
Yeah, it's could be better, but it's alright. And the first part, it's like messing around with shaper box with different it has like time glitch things and the stuttering. So I was messing around with stuttering, and it made all the idea for the intro. So I guess you can try around and find out.
I think it was a really nice, interesting mix of influences as well. I mean, you've got some rave sensibilities in there, and you've got some drum and bass and breakbeat. I think it's a nice, there's some nice, interesting things going on in the track. Like, if you're feeling like not massively confident on like the sound design ins and outs of bass, there's a couple of really good YouTube channels out there. Mr. Bill is one of them, and Frequent has got a really like a load of really cool bass design stuff on his YouTube. Like I don't know if you've heard of him before, Frequent, but it makes some really nice
channel
stuff.
on the Twitch chat there?
Yeah, I can.
Link, please.
Am I allowed to post links there? Is that all right?
Should I will see if it. Hopefully, it won't block it.
Okay.
I'll try it. I have mod settings, so we'll see what it does.
Okay, I'll try it now.
I definitely could use some sound design. I watch a lot of YouTube on like how to make sound, because I don't understand it yet, so I get some info. It's blocked.
Yeah, how do I fix this? Moderator.
Also, if you're interested in like influences, it's more. I listened to like 2 tracks that are really inspired me, like the Caracal Project, some new ones from him, and the one DJ Fresh track. I don't know, especially the kicks and the bass.
DJ Fresh is a good reference for sure.
Yeah.
The links are in the Moldy Soul sticking the links in the Discord chat there. I'm not sure how to turn the filter off.
Honestly, it makes sense to filter links by default, because then people will just come in here and spam the chat with whatever they want. Right?
Yeah, but I feel like there should be an easy way to just to catch one and say yes, this is okay, unblock. But I cannot see it for the life of me.
Yeah, fair.
You can DM me.
Yeah,
it's literally in the
too small brain for Twitch.
It's literally in the Discord at the moment.
Okay.
The events and bots.
Thank you, Moldy Soul.
Thanks. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, really good. Thank you for submitting. Like, honestly, I am always really impressed by everyone always submitting so regularly, because it does take some guts to send in your pride and joy in your babies to strangers. And, and people could say anything, but luckily most of the time in our chats, everyone's nice. So I'm glad.
Yeah. Also, it's quite a old tune because I made it like 4 months ago. So now I like made like 5 more drum and bass tunes, and they all sound a lot better. So it brings my confidence up about newer ones. Yeah. Thanks.
Looking forward to hearing them. Next up, we have Miniko, also known as Michael Nicolas, in the chat there. He's looking for just what people think of this. I'd also like to hear what people think of the mix. This is Wall's demo.
Giving is essential to have a good time. Communication unlocks the keys inside. So let the wine flow deep tonight. I wanna be free. Movement sharing is positivity. Break down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us. Break down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us. Down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us. Giving is essential to have a good time. Communication unlocks the keys inside. So let the wine flow deep tonight. I wanna be free. Movement sharing is positivity. Break down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us. Break down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us. Down these walls that we all seem to build up around us. Step in the light. Let your beauty be naked among us.
So that was Wall's demo. I agree the mix is definitely a bit clashy, and it's kind of hard to tell where to start in fixing it. Like, on one hand, I would suggest maybe mute everything else and just focus on getting the vocal sounding good first, and then build everything around it. But like the vocal almost, like you said, is Loop Cloud. This is one of those things I had a feeling it might be a sample of some kind, because it does sound a little bit generic right now. And if that's the case, then obviously you want it to sound good. You then don't want necessarily to be the focus of your track. So if that's then where you're going and where I'm thinking, then you'd obviously focus on making sure that the drums and the bass, start there with revising the mix down rather than the vocal. Like, I don't know
I,
about you
I think
guys.
I think you've got a really good point there. So, to be honest, when it first came in, I was like, right, Will I Am is in the chat. What the hell? We've got a professional bloody pop producer dropping in some tunes here, and it's got that sensibilities. It's got the pop sensibilities. It's got that sort of, it's catchy. It could be on the radio, and like if you want it to be, stuck in people's head, like some of the Will I Am tunes are. Like I think, go back to the mix, and one of the best pieces of advice that I got given about mix downs that I don't always I don't always listen to myself is like when you basically finish the structure, the whole entire song. Don't just like tweak the levels a little bit because your ears might be completely saturated at that stage. Just take a day off, come back to it, turn everything down, everything to nothing. Turn all your faders down. Call the project something else. Call it new mix, mix point 1, mix version 2, or something like this. Turn them all down and then gradually bring everything back up. Because I kind of feel like the vocals want to be more prominent and forward in the mix, but you also want it sounds like what you want from the track is for everything to be as full as a club track, and I don't think you need to do that in just the at this stage right now. You could just get it sounding full and right and balanced and then whack a limiter on it instead of trying to gain, like it almost sounds like you're fighting with the gain staging more than letting it work for you.
I know what you mean. Like you could tell, especially with the bass, where it's almost like it wants to be crunchy because it's just going through the master limiter. It's just getting flattened instead. Like it's hitting the volume, but it's not hitting the intensity of if it had been done before the master.
I think someone picked up on it on the chat as well. It might be very compressed, and that might be damaging the vocals because it's squeezing it into a box. So you might have had, quite a fair balance before you put a heavy compressor on it, and then it's just tucked the vocals down a little bit lower than where you want them to be. So maybe not go too hard on the final compressor, but try and spread it out over the mix groups and compress the buses. Like, so bus all the drums together, bus the bass together, bus the melodies together, bus the effects parts. And then instead of having one final glue compressor, you've got like smaller gain stages on the individual buses. So you're not having to do as much work on that final master. That's my take on it. I don't know if that's helpful.
I would say that the vocal and the beat on the drop kind of clash with each other, and like there's no space for the vocal on the drop itself because it's too much like bass instrumental. It's like heavy instrumental, like so. I would either have more space for the vocal, or like have vocal more on the background and have more like phasers effects on it and like shape it in some way so it sounds more like just part of the drop, because it's sounding really good in the intro part, like it hooks you in, but on the drop it sounds a little like iffy, I would say, because of compression and stuff.
So, I think that's kind of sums up where we're all sitting with that one. Thank you very much for your submission there, Michael. And next up, we have Eclipsio, who goes by Namara Sounds over on the SoundClouds. And this track, I am still developing this track, provide love dots in the song flow arrangement and momentum. I plan on adding a female vocalist to sing lyrics over the piano melody part. Cheers! It's not auto playing. That's always a good sign. I'm gonna let you guys go first. That's either Uvo or Moldy Soul. Who wants to go first? With giving me some feedback here.
Yeah, I could go. I'm quite impressed with the composition, like how you put different melodies in parts. So it really goes really smooth. It's quite impressive for me because you have like many different variation on the melody. So it doesn't really get boring, even though it's kind of playing the same thing. But it gets you going. It's like has that trance feel. Which I'm not familiar with. I don't listen to trance music at all, but I can hear the trance feel.
Also, huge there, is that?
Never. I like know one song trance, so yeah. But yeah. Otherwise, what would I say? Kinda too loud. I would say every element is loud and has reverb on it, so it's taking up. Every element is taking a lot of space. Maybe you need to either tone down the reverb or have it in different parts hit differently, have different amount and volume on some elements. That's my opinion. Yeah. Somebody go next.
I think this person has got a lot of musical talent. Really solid composition there. Almost sounds like you're classically trained, so you've got some classical ideas, and that works perfectly with trance. So I think you're in the right sort of realm, like exploring this side of music. And there's just a couple of mixed details that I picked up on. At the start, when you first introduce the drop, it sounds a little clouded, like almost off the get-go. Like, I think you want that impact. You've got the white noise like going down, but because you've still got the melodic elements there, like it doesn't find the kind of the bite with the bass line that you kind of want when you first get hooked into a drop. So I think
There we go. In chat, I do in fact play hand play everything in as well. So you're right bang on the money there with the whole classically trained thing.
yeah, clever. Yeah, it's a real clever, clever melodies, intricate melodies. You've got sensibility. Trust your ear and trust. Yeah, whatever you're doing right, and it's just really small details with the mix. And really be careful with like the low end build up at times. I think there was one point like just like about 3/4 of the way through the track, and I don't know if there's just like an arpeggio there that goes like a little bit low, and there's like a little bit too much low end build up there. But just go through
Some
your
weird
track.
resonances there.
It just sounds like a little bit louder on the subby side of things than anywhere else in the track, and then it kind of comes in with a bass line, but then the bass line doesn't match the same like sort of low end content that was built up just before that. So I think it's just a little bit of clashing, maybe just from an arpeggio or something like that, or something that's layered over it. But yeah, so just go in there with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure that the things that aren't your bass have got the actual sub cut out of them, and then that will give you a little bit more intelligibility for the rest of the track. But overall, really solid track. Carry on pushing that style. I'd love to hear a completely broken down version of that, like in a completely different almost style. Like I reckon you could do like almost an acoustic version of that, and it would work because the melodies are so good. Like so, or something ambient or whatever. I think that would be really fun. But yeah, no, it's a great track overall.
Great feedback, thank you. I have a little bit to add to your comments there, some personal, in my head, context anyway. The other thing in regards to frequencies and mixing is stereo fields that controls perception of volume. And in this case, you've got one way I think you'd like in terms of approaching the stereo field Eclipsio, and that is obviously the diagrammatic way of thinking of stereo fields, and that's the arrangement of an orchestra. And obviously, you got your synths, and then you're like, obviously they're not orchestral instruments, but basically you choose roles for your synths that are closest in timbre quality to those elements of the orchestra, and you look at where they're placed in the stereo field. There's lots of diagrams online to how they seat an orchestra, and I'm sure you're familiar with some of them. As if you've probably listened to a fair number of the pieces in different genres, and you've probably been to a few performances yourself, so you kind of already have an instinctual idea of understanding that. But the other way is abstracted stereo field, where rather than thinking about it in terms of a performance space, you think of it in terms of levels. Right now, you kind of only have 2 levels of stereo field going on in your track. You've got everything sitting right in the middle, your drums and your bass, and then you have the natural stereo field that is present in things like your piano sound library. Like, it's already going to have some natural stereo quality because it's a stereo sound and they record it in that way and whatnot, and that's what makes it sound nice. But that's all there is to your track, is the stereo content inherent to the sounds themselves. But you can do more as a producer. You can have more gradient edge space and a lot wider through the use of panning in the EQ. You can actually sculpt the sound in the stereo field, and you're not doing it to fit to one sense of reality. You're doing it as a creative tool. So this is why it's a different approach to the I'm making it a good mix down like an orchestra kind of mix down where everything has a place. You're treating it more like a instinctual by feel kind of thing. And that can lead to different results. It can be a pain in the ass as well. Like, I agree, it does take some patience, but pick a lane. Like, choose which approach you want. I'd actually recommend trying the levels abstracted space, because it's likely out of your comfort zone, and that's the best way to grow and improve as a creator of anything, is to do something you're not comfortable with. But if you get really, really stuck and it just becomes a headache, take the other route. Look at the orchestral charts and say, okay, I know what role everything is sitting in my synthesized orchestra. I know where my arps are meant to be proportional to. Like, it might be the violins, and then on one side you got a deeper arpeggio, and that's kind of like your staccato cello. You can then do it in a literal sense, but I would try it the other way first, where you just start breaking it up and just getting the levels like a wider staircase of different things sitting in different zones. It's a slightly different approach, but hopefully that sort of gives you an idea of what philosophical views. And as I know there's probably more people out there going, there's like a half a dozen ways of doing this. Probably, but I don't have the brain power right now to think of all of them. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's great. Kind of funny, you gave the same feedback to me like half a year ago. You said exactly the same thing about like the orchestral stuff, because I sent some song that it had like orchestral sounds, but only in mono, it going in straight into my face, like maybe a little bit stereo. So the key approach, and maybe like the Dead Mouse said it some time ago, like painting is really great. You can do a lot of stuff with it. Even hard painting one pad to one ear and another one to the second ear could bring you some great ideas.
That's a really interesting point. I do wonder if you can use some of your musical sensibilities to write parts for different ears, maybe, and have a question and answer going on with certain melodic motifs or something like that, but they're almost like hard panned or something like that, but you've balanced them out with the question and answer, that it feels kind of like a balanced stereo field, like there is some communication, like, because I think what's the hard thing with panning for me is having something complementary in the same frequency range that's on the other side, so it doesn't feel imbalanced as a mix. Like, I find that quite hard sometimes, unless you've got exactly the same instrument, like, a guitar like that's playing the same thing panned one way and then panned the other way, like that's fine. But I think you could get really creative if you've got that sort of musical sensibilities, and start asking yourself, like, can I do some question and answer, like with
that's the point
with
to show off, isn't it? That's the point where you really do get to show off.
Yeah, get creative with it. You've obviously got the mental acumen for this sort of stuff, so yeah, just push it as far as you possibly can. That's my advice.
The good example of that painting thing happening is like Tommy Cash heard, as if you listen closely, one ear is one guitar playing like the melody, but some notes are different, and other ear is different guitar. It's like it's not noticeable when you listen to it, but if you listen closely, so the hard part about painting is when you first do the painting stuff, it will sound really weird to you, but if you like give it a day, maybe it will grow on you, and maybe it's not noticeable, or it's even more fun.
Yeah, and we've also been conditioned to this stuff over time, So if I'm not mistaken, like one of the early Beatles records, like hard pans the bass.
Yeah, and the drums.
Weird stuff throughout the 60s through to the 80s before they settled down into the
sort of typical wall of
generic
sound type
synth-
thing.
like they really did just try everything, because it was the first era where there not only was it like they had a lot of tools to just experiment, but the consumers had the gear to experience it the way they were doing it.
On that note, I remember my brother like buying this. I can't remember what indie album it was, or maybe the Flaming Lips or something like this. But it was a 4-disc set that you could play quadrophonically, but you had to get 4 different CD players, 4 different speakers or whatever, and like time it perfectly, or what is it, 2 different time it perfectly, so you're like triggering it at the same time, and then you've got like full quadraphonic experience. But I found that quite, why aren't we doing stuff like that where we're like experimenting with the playback systems that people have, like, oh, you can only listen to it in this perfect way. Like, encourage people to like have 8 speakers. You join together with your bunch of mates.
It's easier now. It's actually easier to do now.
Yeah.
All you have to do
Well, we've
is,
got mini rigs. We've got
but
like
also,
little speakers,
you have
portable devices and stuff.
Ableton Link.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I've been using a lot
You can
of
sync
plugins.
up.
You could even, there's even a plugin. Someone made an plugin for Reaper that gives the Ableton Link functionality.
I made a Raspberry Pi with Link on it as well. Like, so you could link up
it's really, really
wireless
handy.
speakers.
Yeah.
That's always
That'd
fun,
be how you do it in the modern age.
Yeah, totally. Why aren't we doing that? Come on, we're all creative techie people. Why aren't we doing these crazy things, like exploring with the tech that we've got? I'm just going to make a stereo master again, like everyone's been doing for the last 50 years. Like, come on.
Yeah, let's get weird.
On that note, on the note of let's get weird, this is a track that I got AI to make, and it's using something that was only released in the last couple of weeks from Facebook called Music Gen. It's quite easy to find. If you just type in Meta Music Gen, you can find like the paper for it and links to the notebook, and it's a very similar idea to Mid-Journey, but for music, right? So you can put in text prompts and it spits out a bunch of audio, and also you can do stuff like melody conditioning. So you put in a melody that you've written, and then you can ask the AI to turn that into a different instrument. So say I put in something like I'm singing or whatever, or a guitar, you can ask it to turn that into a flute or something like this, and it gives you interesting results. And there's another couple of tricks up its sleeve. You can do audio continuation. So if you're stuck on a track about how to finish it off, you can always stick it in an AI and get it to finish it off for you. So this is the idea with this track. I mean, I'm quite interested to see what people are going to think of this. But essentially what this is doing is it's taking a fragment of sound that's been produced by an AI and then feeding it back into itself to finish itself off. So going through this feedback process.
It's a recursive AI now.
Yeah. I've just made it's just a Python loop. Like, it's very simple. Like, but it's just
echo.
kind of, but it sounds weird. Like, it's called Nightmare Music for the Disenfranchised for a reason. Like,
all right, let's go. Ready? God, I don't know how to give feedback to this. Info, please help. Info.
Honestly, I don't even think it's worth giving feedback on. It's so stupid. Like, I find it interesting that like a year ago, Mid-Journey images looked sort of nonsense and horrible, and within a year they turned into something that resembled something quite interesting and like photorealistic in quotes. So I don't think it's very long until you have more like temporal cohesivity in the music. At the moment, it's really struggling to continue, and it sounds like it's almost getting stuck in these loops of like this really high-pitched, feedbacky whininess. So yeah, that's my take on it so far.
I mean, who did the mixing part on the track?
Yeah, I did.
The AI is a bloody awful at mixing. Like I went in there, I put soothe on things. I tried to tame it down, but it's so resonant in like so many frequencies. And we're not even talking like, it's just a few dBs over like 4K. It's like 10 bloody dBs or like 12 dBs and like 4 different spots of the frequency spectrum. And you're like, this is just painful. If you would listen to this loudly, it would just hurt you. So it's got a long way to go, to be honest.
I mean, it sounds kind of fun. I get the idea that was put inside of it. Like it's like. What can you say, like slow tempo, like bass stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, I tried all sorts of prompts, but the only thing that it seemed to be responded to was dub reggae, and that's why it kept on going back to dub reggae so frequently. Like the rest of it, I tried to put in jungle, I tried to put in glitch, I tried to put in all sorts of things, and it doesn't understand it very well. So there's that. Like,
I mean, it had like 10 different BPMs it chose to play the sound. That was cool too. Even I mean, if human tried to make a song like this, it most likely he couldn't do that, because it's like it's really hard to master this stuff.
Yeah, it fulfills like part of my chaotic sensibilities. Like I could I've always wanted to make music this chaotic, but I could never sit down and write like pure chaos like a computer can. Like, so at least there's that. Like,
yeah, and some glitches remind me like in Porter Robinson album, the 2014 one, it had like a lot of like some strange glitch sound. I guess it's really great. This track represents like many fun glitches you can isolate and like use them in the song.
That's a strong idea. trying to cherry pick the better parts.
Yeah, I mean it's the main idea in like how they say, like I forgot the name of the machines that you like plug a lot of wires and get a lot of sound from them. Modular stuff. Yeah. A lot of producers, they just tweak around for 8 hours and then like pick one glitch sound that sounds great and like use it in a track, and that's the idea. I guess you can use AI for that, but my interest in that, can it do like sound design? Can I ask it like make a virtual riot growl, and it will it give me?
So basically what I've been doing lately, or for the last like few months, is trying to get up to standard with the current AI stuff. And if you've got a good enough data set, you can train these models, but you need a large data set, and that's sometimes restrictive. Like, so you need not only a large data set, but something that's labeled as well with all of the nuances about sound design, so the language model actually understands what you're talking about, and can relate it to the actual embeddings, like the actual
here's where
how the model, yeah. What? Sorry.
And here's where that gets tricky, in my view. Me and you, as people with completely different sets of influences, in living in completely different parts of the world, even though we speak English, we would never describe music the same way. We could listen to the same song and come up with 100 completely different adjectives to describe that song and every bit of it.
I mean, if you have a large enough amount of people describing sounds differently, they will like consolidate to one idea, I guess.
You've nailed it, right? Yeah, the law of large numbers, right? So like if you've got enough data describing the thing, then you just get a nice Gaussian bell curve, like a nice distribution. So a small amount of people will describe it as this, a small amount of people will describe it as the other extreme, and then you've got like most of the people largely agreeing on what the sound will be, like either dark or light or fast or soft or whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's hard describing music in the first place, and it's hard training these models because they don't understand music like we do. It's a very abstract thing. So we're discovering both of these things as we're going.
Images are different, Bacco. Images, there are technical properties to an image that are way easier to describe beyond, because like a frequency in an audio image, like an audio sound, doesn't really explain its emotional impact on the human. A frequency is, like, and you can say, style, but have you seen how the kids talk about music? They're constantly reinventing the terminology they use to describe styles and sounds and feelings. It means that in some ways the AI, it's very difficult for this music description stuff, because how are you going to stay up to date? Like, I know there's prompt engineers and stuff, but it's tricky. It's very tricky. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's harder compared to other mediums.
Yeah, the model only understands stuff it's been trained on. It's not great on any. So if you were to exclusively train a model on country, pop, and dance music, when you ask for dubstep, it's not going to be able to hit the mark because it hasn't actually seen any dubstep, or it hasn't got any. Yeah, it's not going to be able to synthesize dubstep from your description. It's hard. But yeah, no, I think in a year's time, like maybe 6th of July, we'll come back, we'll do a stream in a year's time, and we'll see how AI has changed and if it's if it's any good.
Everyone to do an AI stream where get everyone to submit AI tracks.
Yeah, or some sort of like AI influence, so you could do anything you want with AI, like, and incorporate it in a track, so you can cherry pick it and incorporate it into a track, like the other guest was saying. What is your name? Sorry.
Uva.
Who me? Yuva.
Yuva.
Yeah.
What's your name? Sorry.
Yuva.
Yuva. Okay. Awesome.
Next up, we've got a brief 19-second interlude because Mako says he's put another AI track up to compete against yours. So we're gonna play this quickly. I like how like it kind of, like you say, it has no business being this good, but you could tell when they're trained again on stereo mixdowns. The AI struggle as much as a new producer does to dissect the pieces and reassemble them.
Doesn't have any ear candy, you know.
Well, it doesn't have any ear candy, but also the stereo field is screwed. Like, it doesn't. It's really bad mixdowns, but I think it's like a new producer where you've been doing it for 2 or 3 months and you still don't really have the ear to dissect each element and pick it out and reconstruct it, you know?
Yeah, this stuff won't change for a while because what we're limited to now is the compression rates of audio that we can stick through these models until our computers get bigger and better and we can feed through just raw audio. At the moment we go through a process called vector quantization, which gives you like a 90, like it's more compressed than MP3. So imagine like the quality like is similar to MP3 just because it has been compressed so much to try and fit it into a model. But these are just limitations that will come and go over time. So it will happen one day.
Oh yeah, eventually. It's going to be very interesting to see what effect that has on people's creativity. Next up, thank you for that, Bacco, as well. You said play the SoundCloud link, but you got a music video here. I want to watch the music video. It's decent. It might be cool. I'm going to play the music video. Sorry, Virus Cat Man. It's not the full track. Oh, do a new music video then. Alright, I'll play the full track. Don't worry. This is "Dirty Business" by Kickflip, aka Virus Cat Man. You said overall feeling vibe. It is an older track, so I guess this is gonna be basically was if we dig it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really have any notes for that one. That was good.
Just a great tune. Like I don't know. Produced
I'm
really
still
well.
vibing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said this in chat, but yeah, I'm a simple person. I see Virus, I like it. Like that little picture, it's a Virus synthesizer. Like I think it's one of the like Virus A's or B's or C's or something like that. Like it's the classic sound of trance basically. That one synthesizer is responsible for like 90% of like psytrance
Access Virus
and
C.
yeah, it's one of the A, B's or C's. It was the one before
No, Virus
USB.
Catman says Access Virus C is the one.
Oh,
who's
right.
back.
Oh, fair play. Yeah, no, it's yeah. So the mix sounds really good. Like, if you want a record label to release it on, like, there's some really good people that are doing like the intersection of psychedelia and techno, and I think that's release ready. It's release worthy, and yeah, just get it on a compilation and start getting out there. Like if you're not already, because it's it's ready for the big dance floors. Like I could imagine that at one of the stages at Boom or Azora or something like that in the middle of the day. Like it's got that sort of proggy vibe to it. So yeah, it's spot on production. Like I would dance to it, I would trip to it. Well, I'm probably not allowed to say that.
It's fine.
But yeah, it's great.
I think we said worse.
Okay, great. I would trip over my shoelaces to that, like dancing so hard. That is.
I also liked the way you changed out the second half by adding
Muted.
those vocal samples. I'm not muted. Nobody should be muted.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have anything else to say, Uvo?
No, I have no idea. Great tune.
So, thank you for the submission. And also, like, Multi-Soul, you have such a good ear for these synths. Love it.
The picture was a dead giveaway, though. Like,
I'm not familiar enough with that line of synths to... I didn't pick up on it in that way. But
right,
maybe
okay,
I just need to brush up on some of my old school electronica.
Yeah, Virus Catman, like Electric Power Pole Records, like send them an email. They do like Side Tech Tales or something, like Tech Tales, or I can't remember what it's called. But that would fit on perfectly because it's a compilation album and it just goes through the best of the world's underground. So yeah, it's one way that I've seen a lot of people rise from like bedroom producers and getting on bigger labels like Xenon and stuff like that. So yeah, get on it.
Brilliant. Thank you for the submission. Next up, we have Ty Trippin, who's been waiting for a little while. Thank you so much for your patience. He's saying in chat here, his song about heartbreak, talking about it, and towards the end, he's realizing that the emotion itself is kind of a trap, a dead end. My feedback, he's needing help with mixing. He's particularly focused on things like de-essing because he's recording it on BandLab. Is that the mobile version of BandLab? I've not spent a huge amount of time with it, but it's actually quite amazing what you can do on a mobile phone or a tablet these days. So that's going to be interesting to see. If you could tell us which version of BandLab. Is it the Cakewalk version or the mobile or the web version even? Because I think there's a browser version of BandLab as well. All these companies making fun products. So he's looking for tips on mixing and to improve the quality, bearing in mind that he doesn't have a huge amount of tools at his disposal. So that's going to be interesting. Let's have a listen to End of Me by Ty Tripping.
It's the end of me. Looking in my mirror is my enemy. Thinking it's the end of me. Looking at my enemy. Drowning in my misery. Your love is killing me. told me that it was the end of me. When I'm looking in the mirror, it's my enemy. Yeah, the pain is taking over in my misery, and I don't want your love cause it's killing me. And now I'm suffering mentally. I'm trying to wake up from this dream. This shit ain't really what it seems. Waking up every day just for it to be the same. Codependent 15-year-old, I'm just trying to do my thing. Married to the money, I'ma go and get a wedding ring. But it never affects the way that I feel the pain. Now here's something I gotta say. Music is my only escape. My lyrics are leading the way. It might not get rid of my pain, but that's okay. Expressing my ways makes me feel safe. Music takes me away, digging up my grave. I'm trying to escape, please just give me a break. How you gonna play me so bad when I don't even know why you mad? Cause I can't tell if you're happy or you're sad. Your mixed emotions are just a trap.
Lost Bits.
You told me that it was the end of me. When I'm looking in the mirror, it's my enemy. Yeah, the pain is taking over in my misery, and I don't want your love cause it's killing me. And now I'm suffering mentally. I'm trying to wake up from this dream. This shit ain't really what it seems. How you gonna sit there and play me? That's so sad. I lost all my love and I gave you my last. Forget all the things that we did in the past. I'm living my life, you see me running up a bag. The messages you were sending me, you wanted me so bad. Hezzy pulling up a 3, yeah, you can see it splash. You're drowning in your thoughts while I drown in my cash. Yeah, fuck your love, yeah, I know it's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap.
Lost Bits.
You told me that it was the end of me. When I'm looking in the mirror, it's my enemy. Yeah, the pain is taking over in my misery, and I don't want your love cause it's killing me. And now I'm suffering mentally. I'm trying to wake up from this dream. Cause shit ain't really what it seems. This is the end of me. Drowning in my misery. This is the end of me. Your love is killing me.
Alright, so I've got some thoughts here. You're saying you recorded this on an iPhone. You say you recorded it off a headset. I unmuted myself, don't worry. Yeah, just give me a second to click buttons. It auto-played and all that stuff. Always upsets the balance of my brain. I would say don't plug in your headset when recording. Actually, that's a problem. What you need to use is your inbuilt iPhone microphone. If you're over not the headset one. So you need to plug in a headset that doesn't have a microphone, like some really basic like earbuds or whatever, just to listen to. Yeah, right now the submissions have closed for a little minute because we've been going for how long? How long have we been going for at this point? It's over 3 hours. 3 hours and 10 minutes so far, and we've got a few more still to get through. So unfortunately, I'm gonna leave the queue closed because it's pretty late here.
Also, he hasn't eaten yet. You're starving Natty. We're starving Natty by doing this.
I had lunch, but we're coming up for dinner time. I don't know. Today's been weird. Anyway.
Dinner time. It's 10 o'clock over here, everyone. It's nearly midnight.
My first technical recommendation for your iPhone: plug in a headset that doesn't have a mic input. So then it'll default to your iPhone's inbuilt microphone, which is way better. Like it's way better than any headset microphone that you can plug in. That's like a cheap headset. The iPhone microphone is good enough to record bass stuff. Like, you're never gonna get studio recordings out of an iPhone mic, but for what you're trying to do here, yeah, sure, you can get away with it. The other thing is there are plenty of tools on iOS, as I've been experimenting a lot with mobile production in the last year. Involving things like Interrupt Audio Units V3, and there was another thingy as well. What was it called? And then there's other apps like Audio Bus. Like, they allow you to host external plugins between your apps, so you can have a vocal processor before you even get to BandLab that de-esses your vocals as you're singing. That probably does a better job than the inbuilt plugin. I linked a thing as Voice Rack for iPhone. That's by TC Helicon. TC Helicon, they make hardware vocal processors. I think they're actually owned by Behringer or something. So like, we're not yet hugely rushed. I just won't reopen the queue. So it's like, there is a lot you can do on your iPhone, but I'd start by plugging in a headset that doesn't have a microphone input, because your iPhone is taking to that, not its own stereo microphone system, and that's actually making it harder for you, because a lot of these really cheap inbuilt cabled microphones are actually kind of rubbish. But your iPhone, it's actually not bad. So you guys, I'm gonna leave you guys now to comment on Uvo and Moldy Salt, comment on the music side of things. I don't know whether you guys have a huge amount of experience with mobile production, or whether you're all more desktop and computer oriented.
I really wasn't phased by the quality of the vocals, but something that you said before we even listened to the track, I kept on like just trying to listen out for, and that was the sibilance in the S's and stuff like that. And at times it was like a little much, but I reckon it's something that you can, like, there's a few things that you could do to process them, like for instance, if the S is at the end of the word that you're saying and it's at the end of the phrase that you're saying, you could get creative with it and use it as some sort of, use the S and put a bit of reverb on it and use it as like a sort of noise drop into the next bar, 8 bars or something like that. So it's not, so you start taking these things that are errors and turning them into creative things in your track. And it's annoying we don't have Alicia on here when you're asking vocal questions, because she'd be able to pick up on...
she's way better than I am.
No, not that. You've always got some really insightful feedback, but she always picks up on something that none of us hears, and was like, oh right, okay, the years of experience
music
kick in.
Is what she is.
But so I wouldn't really think that, because there's some people that run their instruments through lo-fi devices to get that certain sound. So it depends if that's the sound that you're going for in the first place, whether you're happy with it and you just want to optimize it as it is because it suits an aesthetic. Then you can just play around with like the tools like Soothe or DS, like go a little bit harder. Or the other thing is like chopping up the sibilances, just slicing around them and then just like literally pulling the gain down on that slice of audio can help sometimes, but you've got to be kind of careful with some of those processes. But yeah, like overall I think it's a solid track. I think you've got some musical talent there. I think it's great. Like, I didn't really pick up on anything else. I just kept on listening out for the sibilances, because that was what was said before. Sorry.
Yeah, I was interested in who produced the beat? Is it self-produced or is it some just a beat produced by someone else? Because again, it has like the tags, the producer tags in between.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a beat shoved into BandLab and then recorded over.
Oh yeah, okay, makes
Because
sense.
it's a really funny thing as well. Like, you can get fully fledged music production software now on mobile, and it's kind of crazy.
It's really hard to use. I tried once and I quit for 3 years. I didn't like it at all.
On Android I can cheat. On Android I can plug in a mouse and a keyboard and it will work. On iOS, on an iPhone, not so much.
I'm like PC only, so I don't, and I can't really pull myself to like put some vocal processing software on my phone and try to do stuff. So I have no feedback on that, but it sounds great. Like for me, even the stuff that it's put on the song, it's really well done, and the voice is probably good.
Somebody's was that just like thunder and lightning in your area or a big truck?
Yeah. It's a big thunderstorm.
Ah, okay. Well, at least that sounded like what I thought it was. Stay safe.
Thank you. I will have to leave. So thanks for the company, guys. Good night, everybody.
Us, Uwe. Good night.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck on the second commenter too.
Peace, man. It's been good.
Yeah, bye.
You sticking around for the last couple of tunes now? We've got 3 left.
Yeah, of course, man. It's only 3 left, man. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So we got Synix. Just general feedback would be great. Just fade away.
to feel like I'm getting caught in your trap again. And I look away as I throw it all out again and out again. closer I look, the farther you see. As I close my eyes and fall into a dream, in a cold night, you turn away. As I see a light, I fade away, I fade away, fade away in the dark. I fade away, fade away, fade away in the dark. I fade away.
So I'm gonna hand it over to you, Moldysol. What do you think first?
Wow. Just wow. That was really impressive. At the end section there, I was like, you've really set it up well for it to be mixed into another track. Because I was like, I was a little bit wondering on the last part there where you bring in the bass line that changes in that. I'm half sure it's like a harmonic minor sort of scale. Yeah, like the note and then a semitone and then like a minor third and then another semitone or something like that. Like that, I was like, how are you going to resolve that? How are you going to let that be easy for someone to mix in? But you nailed it. Like the outro like came back to a calmer point where it would more easily fit in being overlaid with something else, because it gets hard when you're doing those kind of I'd almost call them exotic bass lines, because they're outside of the normal, like what you expect, like in a minor scale or whatever. So it'd throw people off.
Is it
like,
not?
it's not chromatic. Is it chromatic? Am I wrong? Is it just like is it just semitones going down? I thought there was like this rather long gap. Like I thought it was like, you know, you have that main note and then the semitone down, and then like it's a big jump, like that big dissonance, like a minor third. That's why I thought it was like harmonic minor. I could be completely wrong, or it could be just
my terminology is always spotty. So like,
no, I could, but like I'm not pitch perfect as well, so I could be just like misremembering, and it's just like chromatic, and I'm just like, oh yeah. But it's hard when you're doing those. Yeah, if it is chromatic, then it's hard for someone to mix in as well, like because someone's going to be playing a bass line that could be just locked to the minor scale, and one of those notes in your chromatics are going to be slightly clashy a little bit. But I think this sets it up really nice for it to be mixed
it
out.
goes back into being straight right at the end. So it's
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I was like. Oh, you've resolved it really nicely. The sounds are spot on. It's like I'm trying to think of like who it was. Like almost like Trent Moller, like sensibilities, like the kind of like almost minimal techno essences with some like psychedelic touches. Like I found it really like a solid, interesting track that I would listen to, put it on one of my playlists, or I thought it was great. Like solid track, like absolute solid track.
I said in chat, but I really liked the grittiness in the vocal. Like it was subtle, but like just enough to give it that raw emotional touch. Or am I speaking nonsense? I might be speaking nonsense.
No, it's just you haven't got me to go. Yeah. Yes, yes. It's. I think it was like one of the So it's one of the more well-rounded tracks that you hear. Like the production was good. The production was solid. The orchestration was good. Like the sound design was good. Like the balance between the elements, and like one thing I picked up at the start, like I thought was a really nice layering, was I think you've got like a conga, like, or some sort of percussion layer layered with like a delayed voice, like a snippet of a voice, and I was just like, that's a really nice layering that works. So that you've got a nice understanding of how to layer like contrasting sounds so they are still intelligible and give you a nice like harmonic feeling. Like I thought it was solid. You just carry on doing what you're doing, just bang out a load of those tracks. So I would listen to them. Like and if you haven't heard of Trent Moller before, go listen to the album The Last Resort, because there's a couple of tracks on there, Into the Trees, and I think a track called Serenity, that if you haven't heard before, you might get something out of it, because they've got some really interesting things that that Trent Moller does with the bass, and sort of he loves these square, like low pass resonant square basses, and I think he reverses a lot of them with like reverb on them. So I think that's a really nice thing to do with some of these tracks when they're proggy and minimal and psychedelic. Like you incorporate the reverb thing, reverse reverb. I think it's something that we forget to do. The reverse cymbals and stuff like that, because it's one of those tricks you learn very early on in production and then go, oh, it's too basic, I'm not going to use it again. But like there is a time and a place for them, like the good old reverse sounds. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good feedback, and I think I got the spelling of the guy's name right. I'm pretty sure. I suck at names. So confirm that for me in the chat if you can, Moldy Soul. Next up, we have Bako. He's apparently forming a new duo called Euphorics. So.
Feelings, I need you to tell me you're mine.
So, Molly Soul, my first thought once we got to the chorusy bit was that this sounded like ear fatigue in action. And then I asked Backer there, I was like, how long you spent in a marathon working on this? And he says, like, 16 hours. Like, a short space of time, like, yeah, this sounds like your ears have turned to mush. And you've lost sight of what the important bits of your mixdown are. So everything just sounds all loud all the time. And, like, Wall of Sounds, like, they're fun to create, but they only work with the context of bits that aren't so Wall of Soundy. And I think his comment, he was like, I need the sauce, so I'm not doing the same thing 3 times. Well, again, it's it's part of that fatigue of you've run out of ideas in the moment there, even though there's plenty you can still do. Like, I'm going to hand off to you in 2 seconds with this.
No, I think it's interesting that you picked up on the Wall of Sound part, because I think that's what he's trying to go for, right? Like that whole immersive, like you're wrapped around, like surrounded by sound. But like you were saying, like it doesn't need to be like that constantly. Like you need some contrast, so you have that thing a bit more impactful. But also there was one layer that I think, like, if you want that Wall of Sound thing, there's also there's like a high, like R&B kind of, like in quotes mark, like high R&B lead that's layered up, like the legato lead in there, like I don't know if that needs to be there while you've got all the other Wall of Soundy parts, because it's so full at that stage anyway, like that melody could stand on its own, like in a detached part of the
And even things like the vocals are trying to be their own Wall of Sound too. So what you do, if you really want us to work and do everything differently without actually writing entirely new bits, because that would be weird, is you have one bit where the synths are the primary Wall of Sound. That's your focal point. That's the thing that's just wrapping around. Then you have in the next bit where it's just the vocals forming. You'd stack the layers of your vocals to fill the space where the synths used to be. And you need a little bit of pad work and a bit of a bass and stuff to keep the momentum of the track going, but you turn the vocals into the synth, because that's now the new focal area of your Wall of Sound. It's like it's like a house. Every bit you go in the front door, and you got the hallway and a bit. So like you have the living space on the ground floor. And then you go upstairs and it's the bedroom, and it's still a house, but it's different stuff of the house. And that's what you want to do it 3 times, but you've got all your pieces here that are all competing. You just need to, and take breaks, please. Take breaks, Bacco, because you do this to yourself too often, where you get so wrapped up with your idea going, oh my god, this is amazing, I'm amazing, I love working on this, and that's great. But you lose sight of your own objectivity because you're tiring yourself out. You're burning real fast through your mental energy. Go out and have a walk a bit before, every couple hours, you won't lose the momentum, because your creativity and your spark, it's always going to be there. But you have to be kind to yourself too in order to get the best out of yourself. Yeah. Self-help.
The walk is. The walk is probably like the best piece of advice you can give, like, to a musician. Like, and sometimes it's like, oh no, I don't know what it's like living in America, right? Like, especially while there's wildfires going on and stuff like this, you're like, no, I don't really want to walk outside right now because the atmosphere is literally burning around me. Like, so I don't know, it's probably a bit hard, but if you do live in a place where it's like you've got a normal atmosphere, like, it's just, why not go for a walk? That's what Beethoven used to do. Like, so there's a really good video on YouTube about Beethoven's daily routine, where someone imitates it from scratch, like is a composer as well, and just goes around and does everything like that Beethoven would do. And one of them was take regular walks and just like go out into nature and just walk around. And I think it does give your mind that time to like decompress, and like you can come back at it like with a fresh pair of ears, like, because that's what you're not getting when you're listening to it over and over again on a loop. Like you're not getting perspective. Like you think that you're making it better, like, and you think that like time is the answer, and all I need to do is just put in time and it will eventually chisel away, like I'll chisel away this marble into like a perfect statue. But like sometimes just going away from it like will make a better statue, like because you come back with a fresh perspective and know exactly where to strike the hammer next.
Yeah,
that's my take. Sorry.
No, it's good. I think we're in a consensus about this one. It's a good idea. It just needs you to be kind to yourself in order to get the best out of it. I think that's really the end result with this one. We got one more track, Moldy Soul. We got one more track. Are you ready? It's a chill one.
Bringing it back to the start, even though you broke my heart. I think I'm ready again. Can't get you out of my head. Even though you play these games, I really don't know why I stay. I just can't stand what you do. Wish I could get over you. If you love me, say my
Wow. Outro as well, man. Oh, thank you so much for like preparing a piece. Like that was
Also, this is the
perfect.
perfect piece to end the night on, I think, because
It was
I feel really relaxed
melodic.
now.
It was melodic. It was beautiful. It was euphoric. Like, you know, it was the cloud. I don't know if it's just I'm being suggestive right now, but it did just sound like the cloud picture that's in the SoundCloud for it. It sounds like clouds. It's lovely and fluffy. It's ambient and it was great. I loved it. The like criticism, I'm sorry, like just it's a feedback show. Like the drums could just be a tad compressed. Like it's drum and bass. Like so group all of your percussion together and then just a smidgen of compression, like, you know, 3 dB or something on the gain or something like this, like, and that would really sort of bring it all out, emphasize the transients, because I think in drum and bass, like, you really want that sort of really snappy transients, and that's what compressors could give, like, and that's the only thing. But other than that, it was like pretty much a perfect track. Like, I loved all of it, loved the vocals, loved the melodics, and yeah, it was all cool.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, Natty?
I was just so relaxed. I almost stopped listening for nitpicks. Oh, because it was just so chill, and I was really enjoying the vibe, and I was like, yes, this is it. I can switch my brain off now because the music's telling me it's okay to. But
no, that's the music doing it as well. It was the music doing it as well. It was the music allowing you to do that.
Exactly. It's just like, but I think, you know, I do agree. Just a little more work on the drum processing to tie it all together, just to, but yeah, I don't have any additional notes that are useful.
You don't need to add anything, right? So that's, I think some of like producers' impulses, like when we open a track in again, is to add more sounds, like compulsively add things, like but I think you've got enough there that it's, you know, you've got the raw material there. You just need that sort of push-up bra to the drums, like to push things in the... Like,
I love that turn of phrase. That's great. Love it.
Sorry, the raw elements are there. It's just like sort of bringing them out and like sort of shoving it in your face a little bit. Like that was the analogy. Like, someone's told me about it. Like, you know, hear compression, like you would, you know, see a push-up bra or whatever. That's basically what it does. Like, you know, pushes things in the right direction.
Love it.
But yeah, I wouldn't add anything more. I would just like
what do you think the best part is? The whole thing is good. It's a pretty piece. Like, I wouldn't pick a bit out of isolation and go, oh, that's the best bit. I liked the entire experience, T-Charles. So, yeah.
I think it was that one hi-hat sound. I've never heard a hi-hat sound like that. Like, oh man, that was my favorite part. Like how No, there's no one particular favorite part. Like, it's just a solid song.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Big thanks to Zine for overcoming your lack of confidence in public speaking and coming in voice chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you to Sunny for coming on your bike. A little bit weird, but we did it. It's a thing now.
Honestly, okay, hang on. Wait a second. So, like, the most chaotic part of this stream with multiple people was not the multiple people part. It was the fact that one of them, like, just wouldn't get off a bike and talk like a normal human being. Like,
yes.
That was the most chaotic bit. Like, a guy that was just like, oh, I'm going to join on a bike. Fair enough. Like, sorted. It wasn't the fact that we had like 7 people in the chat room. It was the fact that some guy was in a bike. Love it.
Yeah, I've done it. Like, I remember last summer I did one and I was on I bailed. I had to leave the place I was at, and I came back on while I was on Amsterdam's public transport network. It was great. Yeah,
So
it was good.
also, I think the reason why this went on for so long is because like Alicia has a certain knack for it, where it's not like she doesn't like the track. Like it's just like she'll know an adequate point to start speaking over the track. She's got enough from the overall thing that like. But you played out literally every single track.
There's a reason for
and
that.
I think
It's
okay.
because I deliberately started tonight, considering Isha was gone because she's busy, and I hope she's doing good. And my intended like replacement partner for the night wasn't able to make it for the thing. Sonny kind of got his days mixed up because he was going to come on all night. So I was like, well, screw it then. If I'm not going to do anything that's organized or sound like preppy, what we'll do is we'll just take it chill, play everything, just because we don't do that very often, because we're trying to just keep going and get and since I don't know exactly when I'm coming back to feedback stream stuff, because I go on holiday soon, and it kind of clashes into, because I'm next week I'm working, the week after that I'm with my dad, the week after that I'm away for a week and a bit to Poland. Like, we're getting to the point where I don't know exactly when I'll be available next for a feedback stream. So I was like, well, I'll give people the best, most luxurious possible feedback stream experience for what may be my last one in a month or so. Who knows?
That's really nice.
And it's just like, it does make a change of pace. Like, I don't want to do the same thing every week. Like,
show me and Dave how to do it, and then we've got like a week like where you've got like a normal feedback and friends, and then just like me, Sonny, Dave, like get on and do like just chaos. Like,
look, if you're if you are keen and serious about helping us out by running a show every 6 months kind of deal.
Once when you can't be asked, like that'll be it. It's just like.
It's honestly, my it's not really can't be us. I like doing this, but obviously sometimes I'm just physically not available. That's just the reality.
No, sure, we've all got lives to lead, and like especially in the summer as well. Like it's like you take advantage of the good months while you've got them. Like,
when will the monthly challenges come back? Well, it's basically a case of when I'm not the only one pulling everything together. Because that's the one problem with the last little while, with everyone else being busy, and I only have so much brain power of my my work right now on Jam Pro, for example. It takes a lot of my brain power.
Natty, if you need some support, just ask the community. I think there's you might be taking it all on your shoulders yourself when you could be distributing some of this stuff to other people that are interested in helping. Do you ask for help? I'm not a therapist, right?
It's a case of because I know other people, I tend to at least ask what they're up to, kind of thing. And if I notice an opportunity, it's the one reason I'm actually getting a lot of feedback guests on, because I've found gaps where people are actually available and gotten to do stuff, So I do try my best to actually get people involved. It's just sometimes balancing that and actually remembering to do it as well. That's another thing. It's like making time to ask for people to do stuff for me that save me time later. Time management, it's crazy, isn't it?
Honestly, I'm genuinely up for helping you, and I reckon I can rope other people in as well, when they are off as well.
We'll definitely have to have a good conversation about that in DMs, and I don't see why not. It's definitely something that Isha's been wanting for a long time, is to get more people just actually committing stuff and doing stuff that they've agreed to.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's what's hard to do when you're a musician, right? That's why it's hard to make a band.
And it's also internet communities in general. It's tricky because we all have interruptions. The internet is ethereal. Actually the word I'm thinking of is more as
ephemeral.
Yeah.
Ephemeral, yeah.
But, it's there, but it's not there, and it's And it can just disappear. Like, you look at Twitter, for example, everyone's bailing from Twitter. Like, we're having entire communities with that, and Reddit and all that stuff suddenly vanish off the face of the internet. And it makes it very hard, I think, for a lot of people to really take it seriously. Because, like, for me, this is real life. So much of my life involves the internet that there is no distinction between my outside life and my internet life.
Sure, because people have certain personas and they are anonymous in that as well. Like, so I think that's why people can dip and dive easily. Yeah.
If your job lives in an office, your job is not the internet. There's a distinct gap between that and maybe some of the people you hang out with, your family and your friends. While they are on the internet, they don't exist only on the internet.
Yeah, that whole parasocial false sense of connection thing, or what?
Yeah,
right.
But it makes it anyway. We'll have a good discussion about how we can get you guys doing stuff. I'm more than happy to get you involved because that'd be fun. And
totally, yeah. If I want to offset some of your work, so you're not doing so much yourself as well, like, because I don't mind helping out, man. It's music, man. It's what I'm passionate about too, and like engaging the community and getting them better at music is, we have the same interests. So happy to help out if I can.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna, and obviously even while I'm on holiday, I do like nerding out about stuff. Like, I may not be working, but this stuff is fun, so we can figure tech stuff out. Totally fine. I'm doing fine with doing that while I'm on holiday. So we've got one more thing that we have to do. You know what we have to do? What we do every stream, at the end of every stream.
Say goodbye.
This is Feedback and Friends. And I'm so glad to have all of you people in Discord as our friends. Whoever's, I think Citros might be the only one live watching, but love you all. And good night.
Peace. Take care.